How did the book start?
The Adventures of Charlie Moon started when my son was conceived in 1993, and I'd heard a story about some animals, and I thought it would be really good to write a story for him about how animals are trapped and then saved by other animals and by children. It was a very kind of wild idea at the beginning, and it just evolved from there.
And what does it mean to you to have the story published?
It's been about 16 years since I started working on it, and I've obviously talked to a lot of people about it, but finally to have a story published, and not just a story but one that's quite deep and has a lot of different themes going through it and is engaging to children and to adults. So I think whenever you achieve something like that, it's very, very powerful in your life, and it's something that I can leave behind for my son when I leave this planet.
And you mentioned about some of the themes. Can you tell me a little bit about the themes that are in the book?
There are a number of themes. Obviously the one about endangered animals is the key theme, and how Charlie and Moon travel to the city of the Quincy-Quances to save the animals. Then another theme is about children becoming empowered and doing things that most adults think that they can't do. There's the story or the theme of the heroic journey, and how Charlie moves from innocence to a boy who has these incredible powers and becomes a hero, not just to himself but to the people around him. There's a sense of a spiritual life there as well, that you're going beyond what you normally, or go beyond your normal world into another world where you're confronted by monsters and all kinds of horrible things that you have to overcome.
Is this a book that's relevant for adults as well as children?
I think a lot of adults have read the book already, or read the manuscript, and they really like it, and it's written in the kind of style of Roald Dahl, a bit of Harry Potter and a bit of Lord of the Rings, and the humour in it, like what tends to happen with children's books now, is that there's a lot of adult or humour in it for adults, so that they can engage as well as the children. And if the children don't get the adult humour, that's okay, because it's just a story. But I remember talking to some children in a school in Perth, and I asked them what kind of things they liked in stories, and they said they liked scary bits, so I put lots of scary bits in for the kids.
And what about some of the real family values that come out in the book?
There's obviously Charlie's family and the relationship between him and his sister and him and his parents, which there's a lovely arc between Charlie and his sister Penelope that resolves in the end. But one of the biggest family value things is between the chickens and the Snarlies, and they're always playing cards, a game called Happy Families, and that Happy Families thing goes through the whole of the book, and it's like I suppose a theme that is important, because a lot of families aren't happy at the moment. I grew up in a very happy family, so I'm lucky, and the family that I have now is very happy, but it's just the game, I suppose, represents play that we don't play enough in our lives, and the Snarlies and the chickens are always playing cards, and they're always having a good time.
I know that you want to make a difference with the book. Can you talk a little bit about that?
We want to empower children, really. That's our key. To the fact that people, adults and children, are now looking at computers and they're listening to their iPods. We want the book to be able to be read initially, and for it to empower children to go out and question the adults in their society, and why we are wiping out so many animals in our world. When we don't really think about what we're doing, we tend to be short-term thinkers and don't worry about the long term. We're often talking about, oh, we're going to do this for our children, or this is for the future of our children, but we're actually wrecking the future of our children, and they've got a lot of stuff coming to them that's going to be quite hard to take.
And my understanding is there's going to be a website set up about the book.
Well, you'll probably be looking at this video on a website that will encourage children to come to the website and put up material of their own, like stories of their own, pictures that they they draw from the book. We want to encourage children to create their own music and put it up on the website, and the website will also be utilised for auditioning children for the film once the film gets underway.
And do you want to talk a little bit about the film and when that's likely to happen? My understanding is that there's a film to be made of the book.
Yes, The Adventures of Charlie Moon, this is part one. It's called the Facing the Consequences, is the first part of a trilogy, and this film obviously looks at endangered animals. The next film looks at the problem with the shortage of food, and the third film looks at the problems with our waterways and our oceans and how they become polluted. But all the stories are adventure stories, and we're not going to beat people over the head with an environmental stick. We want people to become empowered by what the stories tell. We expect to make this film in 2010 and for it to be released in 2011. And there are a lot of people already very, very interested in being involved in the film. So we're in the process of putting that together.